Joining me right now, former economic advisor to President Ronald Reagan, Art Laffer, Trump economic advisor Steve Moore, and our very own Lori Rothman joins us from the floor of the New York Stock Exchange as it looks more and more likely we're going to hit 19 again. Good to see all you guys. Lori, jump in as soon as we do. 2 points away here.
I mean, I think that the Dow, Trish, is hitting a little resistance at that 19,000, right? It's a psychological milestone, but you pointed it out, man. I mean, the market's come so far, so fast in just these 2 weeks since the surprise victory, 650 points on the industrial average. And not to be left out, the other benchmarks are trading at record highs, too. I mean, what a statement on the market. I mean, the tape has just been screaming for Trump. I mean, it's unbelievable.
Well, you know, and we didn't think it would necessarily. I mean, there are a lot of people that
the futures overnight. Sorry to interrupt you, right?
We're so worried. You're so right. And you know, I talked to many investors that were concerned about volatility, that thought the markets would sell off. We have seen anything but that. Now, you know, I got to ask you, Art. You've been pushing this agenda for many years. Probably since your Reagan years. Lower taxes, less regulation, that equals economic prosperity. My question to you right now is the market's putting a lot of hope in exactly that agenda. Can he get it done? And if so, how soon?
He can get it done. He can get it done fairly easily, especially with advisors like Steve Moore, who are working with him day and night. Steve knows exactly how to do it, what to do, and Larry Kudlow is the other one who's there. And, you know, I have 100% faith in both of them and Trump. It'll be a great period, let me tell you.
All right, so what are we talking about taxes-wise? I want to know from a corporate...
We're talking about corporate tax down to 15%.
Individual tax?
Well, a little bit later. That'll take longer. But 100% expensing of capital equipment in the year of purchase. You're talking about getting rid of the inheritance tax. You're getting rid of regulations, restrictions, and requirements. Obamacare reforming and Obamacare, Dodd-Frank. I mean, all the evil beasts that are sitting out there holding America back.
Obamacare reform, repeal, replace. That's going to take a little time, Steve Moore. But taxes, can you get that done fairly easily, fairly quickly? Because, hey, we'd all kind of appreciate a tax cut. Everyone would love a tax cut.
I believe we can. You know, Ronald Reagan signed his tax bill that Arthur Laffer worked on in August of 1981. I think that was 8 or 9 months. I think, Arthur, we might be able to beat you on that. We might get it done in 5 or 6 months. And, you know, the point is, you know, you were talking about the Dow. And Arthur can correct me because he was there. But if the Dow went up as much in 8 years of a Trump presidency as it did under the Reagan presidency, Arthur would be talking about a Dow of, what, 35,000 or something like that 8 years from now. So, I mean, the potential for a big bull market that we haven't seen in a long time in this country. You know, you're talking about the Dow flirting with 19,000. I'm talking about 35,000 in 8 years.
35,000 in 8 years. All right, Steve, I hope we can replay this and say, look, Steve Moore told us in 8 years it would be at 35. Lori, you're talking to all those traders down there. It feels like there's more optimism. Although I got to point out, you know, I was out on the street the other day and I had a few people come up to me and say, look, is it going to be okay? To which I said, yeah. You know, I think it will be okay. Well, it better be okay. The world is not falling apart. But what are you hearing down the floor?
Well, obviously, it's a holiday-shortened week. There's not a lot of news to trade on, right? We don't have a lot of economic reports. Earnings reporting season is winding down. That said, though, the fourth quarter traditionally is a pretty seasonally strong time for the stock market. But, you know, a lot of people used to look at stocks like a casino. It was a big gamble. But now, with these Trump pro-growth policies that you're discussing there, here on Wall Street, they're very optimistic that, simply put, a tax cut is going to mean more dollars in people's pockets. I mean, look at the retail sector. It's one of the outstanding performers.
You know, the more dollars in everyone's pocket, they can spend it really quick. I just have 10 seconds. But, Steve, what are we talking about in the way of the individual tax cut? I know there was an initial proposal, what, of 25%, and that got changed by you and your team. It moved up. So what do you think realistically you can get done?
Highest rate of 33%, and as Arthur said, get rid of the gift and estate tax. We get rid of the surtax on investment, on capital gains and dividends, so we bring that down to 20. It's all pro-investor, Arthur. It's all pro-investor.
Okay, and the hope, I just want to point out to the viewer, is that you're growing the economy enough that you are able to offset the lack of revenues you'd otherwise come in. It's part of the Laffer curve.
Well, cut spending. Cut spending. Come on, cut some spending.
I'm all for it. And we got a story coming up later on in the show of some spending that can absolutely be cut. Art, Steve, Lori, good to see you guys. All right, Don.